Hello everybody, this is another Hot Wheels Collector video. I am super excited to give you guys this video because the haul videos are back and I have found some really nice cars in a local Smith's Toys Superstore at the price of £1.69, and what I have found is the 2024 B case already. They are already starting to hit UK stores. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. I don't really want to waste all of your time, so let's get straight into the first car. Alright, so kicking off this whole showcase then, the first car which I managed to find was the Honda Civic Si. In metallic gold, this car does feature in the Hot Wheels J Imports mini-series for 2024, and is car number 2 out of 10 in that set. Now then, this specific release is going for a much different look compared to other releases of this casting, and that is because it is going for a more modified look. As you can tell with the carbon fibre hood, it also does have some hood pins on there, so yeah, a totally different release. Now I will mention that I will quickly go over all the cars which I did manage to find, however I will not go over them in a super big amount of detail. The reason for that is because I will be releasing individual review and showcases of each of these cars, so you'll be able to see them come into the channel very soon. But this is just a quick look at this car. Really nice release, as you can tell here. This is going to be one of the most popular ones in this mix for sure. The only thing which looks a little bit weird about this car is the wheel choice. I think it's because the rim itself looks a little bit small, but yeah, overall a really nice release. I'm happy to say that I did manage to find this car. Anyways, on to the next one. Alright, and the next car which I managed to find was the Proton Saga. Now this car has been done in glossy red. It's a brand new casting for 2024, and for this case, it does feature in the Compact Kings mini-series and is car number 3 out of 5 in that set. Now this is a really solid casting, I'm a big fan. It does receive side tamper work, it's rolling on the Aerodisc wheels which have been painted in chrome. I actually like the Aerodisc wheels, not many people do, but for some reason I just do like them, especially when they've been done in chrome like this and also white. This car also does have front tamper work, the headlights have been created through the window plastic here, and overall this is just a really nice release of this casting. I can't wait to see what happens with this casting next. It does not have any rear tampo, and it does not have any top tampo either. There's the bottom of the car for anybody who's interested, and there you go. That is it for this car, so on to the next one. Alright, so the next car I found is the 76 Greenwood Corvette in metallic purple with a race car livery on it, which honestly is exactly what this casting should have on it, since this car in real life is a race car. Now then, this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Modified mini-series, and is car number 2 out of 10 in that set. And yeah, it does receive side tamper work, as well as top tamper work. The headlights of this car have been created through the window plastic, and this car does not have any rear tamper work, as you can see there, hopefully. And there you go, there's the top view, a little bit more tamper work on the trunk area, and there's the bottom in black. The wheel choice on this thing is fantastic as well. I'm a big fan, and yeah, overall just a really nice addition of this casting. Yeah, I can't complain at all. On to the next car. Alright, and the next car which I found is the 2020 Ram 1500 Rebel. Done in a very factory fresh look. Now that really is fitting, as this car does feature in the factory fresh mini-series and is car number 3 out of 10 in that set. Now then, this thing has been painted in glossy white. It does receive side tamper work as well as front tamper work, so there's lots of tamper work featuring on this thing. You definitely do get your money's worth with this car. Now I will mention that this car is rolling on the off-road beadlock wheels, which have been painted in grey. I will mention that this car does not have any rear tamper work or any top tamper work. The black featuring on the hood of this car, creating the hood vents of this thing, is created through black plastic. It is not tamper work. And yeah, there's the bottom of the car, done in black. So there you go, that's it for this car. Really awesome release of this casting. Again, I have no complaints whatsoever. Super cool car indeed. And the next car I managed to find is the Ford F-150 Lightning Custom, done in metallic red. This is a really solid release of this casting. This casting was brand new for 2023, and this is the second ever release of this thing. A really solid release at that. This car does feature in the Hot Wheels Green Speed mini-series for 2024, and this is car number 5 out of 10 in that set. I will mention that this thing does have side tamper work, but does not have any front tamper work, as you can see there. It also does not have any rear tamper work, but it does have some tamper work on the top of this thing, on the hood, and on the spoiler or trunk portion of this thing. And I will also mention that this car is rolling on the Ryu Asada 6-spoke wheels, which have been painted in chrome. Once again, a really solid release. Oh, I will show you the bottom of the car as well. There you go. There it is for anybody interested. But yeah, as I was saying, really solid release. Which one's better, the original release or this one? The blue one or the red one? Let me know in the comments section down below. I don't know. I'm torn. I think they're both really nice. But anyways, on to the next car. And the next car I found is the Civic 21C. Now this car has been painted in this weird purplish blue colour. It is slightly metallic. It's a really weird colour. That's all I can really describe it as. Now this is a brand new casting for 2024. It first debuts in the 2024 A case. However, does carry over into the B case, which is how I found this thing. Now this thing is a licensed casting. It is a real life car, and I believe that this car is actually the fastest car in the world currently. A lot of people don't know that this is a licensed car, but yes, it is. Now this car does feature in the Hot Wheels Green Speed miniseries for 2024, and is car number 1 out of 10 in that set. I will mention that this thing does not have any side tamper work, but it does have some front tamper work in the form of headlights and the front badge. And this car also does have rear tamper work here. It does not have any tamper work on the top of this thing though. And I will mention that this car is rolling on the Y design wheels, which have been painted in grey on this car. A really nice new casting, and yeah, I have no complaints once again about this release. Very cool indeed. On to the next car then. Alright, and the next car I have here for you is the 70 Plymouth Barracuda. Painted in this dark blue colour, it is metallic by the way. It does feature in the Hot Wheels Roadsters miniseries for 2024, and is car number 3 out of 5 in that set. This thing does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, hopefully you can see that there. It also does not have any rear tamper work, hopefully you can see that there as well. It's quite difficult to see this car because it is in the packaging, so please do stay tuned for my individual review and showcases of each car. You'll be able to see the cars a lot better there, and I will also go through every single detail about each car. This is just a quick look at the cars. This thing does have some top tamper work as well on the hood and on the trunk of this thing. It's quite difficult to see the trunk tamper work. All it is the Plymouth writing, which has been done in blue, and there you go. I will mention that this car is rolling on these quite controversial wheels. I think it's because they look far too large for this car, and when you look at the card art, they do look a lot smaller. It's because the rim itself is really large and the tyre is really small, and these wheels are made for like race cars and stuff, definitely not muscle cars, so quite a controversial choice, as I've said there, from the Hot Wheels team. And there is the bottom of the car, done in some grey plastic. But there you go, that's it for this car. Quite a solid release, although the wheels are a bit controversial, and honestly I'm not a big fan of them, to be honest. But yeah, other than that, this car is really nice. On to the next one. Next up we have the Humvee. Now this thing has been done in grey. It does feature in the Hot Wheels First Response miniseries, and is car number 4 out of 10 in that set. I will mention that this thing does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work or any rear tamper work, but it does have some tamper work on the top, on the hood, and the rear portion of this car. And there you go. I will mention that this car is rolling on some black off-road wheels, and I will also mention that the base of this car has been created through metal, whilst the body of the car is created through plastic. But there you go. It's an alright car. It's definitely not my favourite car by any stretch of the imagination, but still pretty cool, and is a casting which I did not have in my collection prior to this release. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I picked up is the 15 Dodge Charger RT, featuring in the Hot Wheels First Response miniseries. It is car number 1 out of 10 in that set. I will mention that this car has been painted in glossy red. It does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, as you can see there. It also does not have any rear tamper work, hopefully you can see that. But it does have some top tamper work on the hood of this thing, and also on the trunk of this thing. I will mention that the windows of this car have been done in yellow, see-through plastic by the way. And yeah, I will mention also that the wheels on this thing are the 5-spoke wheels, which have been painted in grey. This car does have a black plastic base as well, as you can see there. And honestly, I'm a big fan of this release. Usually I don't like this casting, but this specific release looks awesome with this casting. I think it's because it does have a light bar, so the Hot Wheels team are really limited on what they can do with this thing. But honestly, I'm really impressed. Anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I have here for you is the Corvette C6. This thing has been painted in this luminous orange colour. I would also like to mention that this casting is a brand new retool. Now if you don't know what a retool is, it's essentially where the Hot Wheels team take an existing casting and they tweak it to make it more accurate to the real life car and also more up to date to modern standards. I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Roadsters miniseries and is car number 2 out of 5 in that set. I would also like to mention that this thing does have side tamper work. It also does not have any front tamper work. I would also like to mention that this thing does not have any rear tamper work. Hopefully you can see that there. And I would also like to mention that this car does have some top tamper work there. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the exotic 10-spoke wheels, which have been done in black for this car. And I would also like to mention that the base of this car has been done in black, and you can see that base there in a little bit more detail. Hopefully you can see all the details you want to see there. But anyways, that is it for this car. On to the next one. Next up, we do have the Porsche 911 Carrera RS 2.7. Now, this version has been painted in glossy yellow. It was a brand new casting for 2023 though, and hence this is the third ever release of this casting. I would like to mention that this car does feature in the Factory Fresh mini-series for 2024, and I would also like to mention that this is car number 4 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does have side tamper work. It also does have front tamper work, as you can see there, and it also does have a rear tamper work, so very generous tamper work from the Hot Wheels team there. This car does not have any tamper work on the top of this thing though, but honestly there's no details missing there really, so it's totally okay in my opinion. Next up for the wheel choice on this thing then, this car is rolling on the retro 5-slot wheels, which have been done in black, and they do have a chrome lip to them. And finally, for the base plastic of this car then, it has been done in black, and hopefully you can see all the information you could possibly want there. But anyways, yeah, I'm a big fan of this release. It does look a little bit funny with the black front and rear bumpers on this thing. It almost looks a little bit like a junker, but yeah, it still looks pretty cool. Very unique release of this casting. I can't wait to see where this casting goes from now on. Hopefully it stays looking factory fresh like this one and all the prior releases too, but who knows, eventually this car will definitely get some kind of crazy graphic to it, or maybe even some type of racing livery. But anyways, that's really it for this car, so now on to the next one. Next up, we have the Ford Escort RS 2000. Now then, this was a brand new casting for 2023. It had 4 releases in total, including this one, and one of those releases was a Target Red edition. Now then, this car has been painted in a lime green colour. It is just glossy, it is not metallic, and I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the Factory Fresh mini-series for 2024, and this is car number 1 out of 10 in that set. I will mention that this car does not have any side tamper work. However, it does have some front tamper work here, as you can see there. This car also does have some nice rear tamper work as well, keeping that factory fresh look going, because as you can tell, this thing is very bland looking, but honestly, I'm a big fan of that look. And this thing does not have any top tamper either. You can see these vents are actually created through the window plastic there. And there you go, no tamper work on the top of this thing. And now for the wheel choice, this car is rolling on the 5-spoke wheels, which have been painted in chrome. And as for the base of this car, it is also done in a lime green plastic. You can see all the base details there if you are interested in that. But anyways, there you go. I'm a big fan of this release. Is it as good as last year's releases? Not in my opinion, but I do know a lot of people who prefer this release. I think it's because it did receive headlights and the front badging, where last year it got side tamper and rear tamper, so it wasn't in as much of a factory fresh look as this one. But anyways, I'm a big fan of this thing, so on to the next car. Alright, and the next car we have here is the Volvo XC40 Recharge, painted in this dark blue colour, which is metallic. This was a brand new casting last year, and it's only had one prior release to this version, which we are looking at today, and that was in green. Now this one has been done in this racing livery, whilst the previous release had like a forest on the side of it. I think I might prefer this version, to be honest. It's really nice looking in my opinion. Now this version does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Green Speed mini-series, and is car number 2 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does have side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, just like the previous release. However, it does have rear tamper work, exactly like the previous release. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the off-road beadlock wheels, which have been painted in grey. And I would also like to mention that the base of this car has been done in black. Hopefully you can see all the information on the base there that you might want to see. But there you go, a really nice recolour of this casting. I know last year this was a lot of people's least favourite new casting, but honestly I think if it had debuted in this livery and in this look, it would have definitely been up on people's lists, but because it was in that green, I know quite a lot of people didn't really like that colour. But yeah, this is a really solid release of this casting. I love it. It looks even better in person. Superb car. I can't wait to unbox this thing very soon. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, so the next car we have here is the Mazda Autozam. Now this is a brand new casting for 2024, and this casting first debuts in the 2024 B case. Now then, I would like to show you that this car did actually win Hot Wheels Legends Tour, and hence this is a car in real life. And in real life, this car is known as the Texas Toot, as you can see on the door of this Hot Wheels model. Now then, I will mention that this car does feature in the Hot Wheels Dream Garage mini-series for 2024, and this is car number 3 out of 5 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car has been painted in glossy white. It also does receive side tamper work and front tamper work. However, it does not have any rear tamper work or any top tamper work. Now then, for the wheel choice on this thing, it is rolling on the off-road 6-spoke wheels, which have been done in black with a nice white lip around them. These wheels are absolutely huge, and this casting in general is humongous. It definitely will not fit in these creative options organizers, which I use. So I don't know where I'm going to store this thing. It's absolutely gigantic. And there is the base of the car, done in black plastic. Hopefully you can see the information there. It's really hard to see. There's really not much on the bottom though. It just tells you what the car is and a few little codes, and that's it. But there you go. This casting is really cool and unique. It's nice to see such a huge casting in the main line, even though I don't know where I'm going to store this thing. But yeah, the Hot Wheels team have executed this fantastically. And yeah, really awesome new casting. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I have here is the Volkswagen T2 pickup. I'm a massive fan of this release of this casting. I think it looks superb in this really interesting colour. The reason why I call this colour interesting is because it's like this greyish blue colour, which has been done in a matte finish. Now I will mention that this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Hot Trucks mini-series, and this is car number 1 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does have side tamper work, as well as front tamper work on there, as you can see there. However, it does not have any rear tamper work or any top tamper work, and I would like to mention that the bed of this truck has been created through the chrome interior plastic. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the Aerodisc wheels. However, only the centre part of the Aerodisc wheels have been painted on this car. Usually the entirety of the wheel gets painted, but on this one, that's not the case. I actually think that people will like the Aerodisc wheels a lot more in this look. And honestly, they do look superb. And honestly, in general, they look like a totally different wheel. I didn't know what wheels were on this car when I was looking at the unboxing videos, but yeah, they're just the Aerodisc wheels, which have been painted in a really weird way. I will also show you that the base plastic of this car has been done in white, and there's all the information you might want to see on the base of the car. But yeah, really nice release of this casting. I have no complaints whatsoever about this thing. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I have here is the Ford GT. Now this thing is returning from the previous A case. It does carry over into the B case though, and that's how I found this thing. Now then, I will mention that this car has been painted in glossy white. This car also does feature in the Factory Fresh mini-series for 2024, and this is car number 2 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does have side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work. It also does not have any rear tamper work. However, it does have a lot of top tamper work. Look at all that detail there. I'm going to try and get a bit closer so you can see it all. Look at that. That looks fantastic. I can't wait to open this thing as well. To be honest, I can't wait to open all the cars because they're all fantastic. Here we go then. So the wheel choice on this thing is the 5-spoke wheels, which have been done in black with a chrome lip. And I will also mention that the base plastic of this car is done in black, and there's all the details you might want to see on the base of that thing. But there you go. Really nice release of this casting. It looks superb. I am a massive fan. The amount of tamper work on this thing is fantastic, and you definitely do get your money's worth. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I have here for you is the Tesla Model Y. Now this car has been painted in this really interesting blue colour. It does appear to have a little bit of metal flake to it, but it's not super metallic, just slightly. Now I will mention that this was a brand new casting for 2023. It first debuted in glossy white, and then since then it's had quite a few different recolours. I will mention that this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Green Speed mini-series, and this is car number 3 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does not have any side tamper work. However, it does have some front tamper work there, as you can see. And it also does have some rear tamper work. So this has been done in a very factory fresh look. Once again, it's nice to see it returning in that look because last year it was also done in that look. I will also mention that this car is rolling on the 10-spoke wheels, which have been painted in black on this car. And finally, for the base of this car, it has been done in black plastic. You can see all the details which feature on the base of this car from this angle. And yeah, this is just a really nice release of this car. Once again, this case is just full of amazing stuff. I genuinely don't think there's many bad cars in this mix at all. This is superb, and yeah, I can't wait to open this one as well. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car picked up is the Nissan Skyline RS KDR30, aka the Nissan Skyline R30. Now this car has been painted in this metallic purple colour, which I think looks fantastic on this car. I would also like to mention that this car features in the 2024 Hot Wheels J Imports mini-series, and this is car number 1 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work. However, I will mention that the headlights of this car have been created through the window plastic of this thing. I would also like to mention that this car does receive rear tamper work as well. Hopefully you can see that there. And this car does not have any top tamper work at all. I would like to mention that the wheels on this car are 10-spoked, and they also are painted in this chrome bronze colour. And finally, for the base of this car, it has been done in black plastic, and there is all the information featuring there. But anyways, that's really it for this car. I can definitely see why this car is so hyped, because A, it's a Japanese car, and B, it's just a really nice release of this casting. So yeah, it definitely does deserve the hype. It looks fantastic. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, and the next car I have here for you is the 19 Ford Ranger Raptor. Now this car has been painted in glossy black. It does also have the HKS livery featuring on it. And I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Hot Trucks mini-series, and this is car number 2 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, hopefully you can see that there. And it also does not have any rear tamper work either. However, it does have some top tamper work in the form of the continuation of the HKS livery. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the 5-spoke Baja off-road wheels, which have been done in black with a chrome blue lip to them. I would also like to mention that the base plastic of this car has been done in black, and there is all the information featuring on the base. You can read that for yourself if you are interested. But there you go, a really nice car. Honestly, I'm pleased that they put the HKS livery on this car. I wasn't expecting it to look too good, but honestly, it looks pretty good in person. But anyways, that's it for this car, so on to the next one. Alright, and the next car I have here is the Ain't Fair. This is the first ever fantasy car I've ever purchased. Now this car has been painted in this metallic black colour. I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the Hot Wheels Fast Transit mini-series, and this is car number 3 out of 5 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does have side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, or any rear tamper work, or any top tamper work, so it's only tamper work on the side. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the Aerodisc wheels, which have been painted in white, and this car does have a black base to it, which is of course plastic. There's all the information on the base if you're interested. This is a treasure hunt. You can't really see the treasure hunt logo, but yes it is. There's the treasure hunt logo on the side of the thing, so that is why I picked this thing up. I also really do like the look of this car anyways, so yeah, I thought I might as well pick this thing up, even though it's a fantasy car, and even though I don't collect fantasy treasure hunts at all. I've seen so many fantasy treasure hunts in the wild, and I usually just leave them, but this thing looks fantastic in my opinion. I'm a really big fan of this release of this casting. Looks awesome. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, so the next car I have here for you is the 1956 Corvette. This was a brand new casting for 2023, and the reason why this casting exists is because of the Barbie movie. This casting first debuted in pink, and then it went to blue, and now it is in the Ken livery. You can see that this car has been painted in grey, and this does have a matte finish to it. I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the 2024 Hot Wheels Screen Time mini-series, and this is car number 3 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does receive side tamper. It also does receive front tamper there. It also does not have any rear tamper, unfortunately, and it also does not have any top tamper. I would also like to mention that this car is rolling on the Aerodisc wheels, which have been painted in chrome on this car. And finally, for the base plastic of this car, it has been done in this really dark grey colour. You can see all the information featuring on the base of this car. Here, you can read it for yourself if you are interested. But there you go. This is a really nice release of this casting. I think it's my least favourite release of this casting, but I still think it is really solid. But anyways, on to the next car. Alright, so the final car I have here for you is the Nissan Patrol Custom. Now this was a brand new casting for 2023. However, I actually think this is the best release of it to come out so far. I believe this casting has only had 2 previous releases, but yeah, I think this is the best one to come out. Now then, this car has been painted in glossy reds. I would also like to mention that this car does feature in the Hot Wheels First Response miniseries, and this car is number 5 out of 10 in that set. I would also like to mention that this car does receive side tamper work. It does not have any front tamper work, as you can see there, hopefully. It also does not have any rear tamper work, but it does have some top tamper work on there, and as you can tell, this car is going for an off-roader snowy look, which I think looks superb on this casting. I will also mention that this car is rolling on the off-road beadlock wheels, which have been moulded in white plastic, and then they have been painted in black. And finally, for the base of this car, I will mention that it has been moulded in white plastic, and you can see all the details featuring on the base of this car from this angle. You can read them for yourself if you are interested. But there you go, what a fantastic release of this casting. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best release to come out so far, as I've already said, and yeah, I have no complaints whatsoever about this thing. It looks superb. But there you go, that's it for this car. And there you go, that is everything I managed to find on my trip to my local Smith's Toy Superstore at the weekend. I can honestly say I was not expecting to see any 2024 cars, never mind the B-case cars. I'd been seeing a few people locally putting on Facebook that they had found some 2024 cars, but that was about a week ago, and I thought, well, I'm going to be late to the party, I'm just going to kind of get the leftovers here. But no, I went to my local store, and they had literally just put a case out overnight. Now, I was first in the store. I went at opening time, as I do on Saturday mornings. And yeah, that's when I found all of these B-case cars. I could not believe my eyes. I was so excited and happy with what I found. And yeah, I can't wait to get them open. So stay tuned for all of those individual review and showcases. They will be coming out very soon. Please do keep your eyes open, especially if you are interested. But anyways, that is it for this video. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Remember, you can also press that notification bell so you do not miss new uploads. Remember, you can also share this video with any friends, family, or any groups who may be interested. But remember, don't feel pressure to if you don't feel like you have anybody who may be interested. You watching this video all the way to the end means so much to me, and I really do thank you for making it all the way up until this point. But anyways, that is it for this video, so I hope you guys did enjoy, and I really do hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye bye everyone.